No. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. I really dislike it when that noise comes up in my ear. It's really off-putting. But we are coming to the end of qualifying. Diz is still currently fastest of them all. Max Mulder soon back on track with my mixed class race. Looking forward to seeing you in that one, Diz. Max, what car have you opted for in the mixed class? As the rest of them have just finished their lap times. I believe it's just KLF and possibly John Andrews. They're the only two left on a lap. KLF, can he improve on P9? Currently 1.1 off the pace. And comes down the main straight now. Here he comes. Any improvement on this position? No, he stays where he is. So Diz in the BMW, not been around for a while, has put it on pole position here. And it's nice to see him back on top. So it's going to be Diz starting from pole position ahead of Matt Wright, Robert Ramsell in third, fourth for Stephen Millington, Sam in fifth, Stardog in sixth, seventh has been Nuclear Waste, eighth was Jamie, ninth is KLF, 10th is Darren Bell, 11th Rob Smith, John Andrews 12th, 13th was DJ Phil, then it was Jamal Clouden, then it's Andy, Dan Taylor, Tipping, Matthew Duffin, O'Reilly, Susie, Old Sim Racer, Who Darren, Skunky, Friedman, McGowan, and then Gary Leach making it to the line in the end. So let's get a couple of predictions on the board. And while you're at it, guys, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at Simply Motorsport. And obviously, while you're in the chat, let's hear from you. Let's hear who you're supporting, what you've liked, what have you enjoyed this season. Is there anything that we could have done differently? Like, or is there just basically let's have a chit chat about the overall season, as I will get a prediction for race one winner. And obviously, while you're in the chat as well, have a look in our description for our two fantastic sponsors, which are Design Manchester and Audio Sport.
30 seconds.
Both helping the channel out massively throughout the years since obviously lockdown, since 2021 when COVID was the thing. And the channel has just grown even more, and we would love to see it grow even more, and with our sponsors as well. So have a look at their fantastic links in below. Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much, much more, including Simply merchandise. And their Facebook link is in the description as well. Audio Sport, manufacturers of VW Transporter, T4 Audio Solutions, and styling products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk, and there is their Facebook link as well. But let's get the live chat open. Let's see all you guys in the chat. Get your predictions on who you think is going to win this first race. For me, I'm going to obviously have a look back at this season. It's been fantastic to watch all these guys. Obviously, the big disappointment for the season has been that we couldn't race at Kyle Army due to the Xbox having issues with their servers. So we didn't actually run at Kyle Army, which these cars would have been brilliant at Kyle Army, but sadly we never got around to it. Obviously, something to highlight is Matt's very consistent season. It's been very pointsy. He's been on the point pretty much from day dot and onwards. To be fair, there's been some great. I can't really pinpoint one thing. I just got to say the GT4s have just been phenomenal to watch this season. They've been brilliant. I've enjoyed every moment of commentating them, and I look forward to hopefully more next season. And I hope you guys enjoy it too. If you do want to be a part of the action, though, on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of February next year, then head over to our Discord, head over to our sim grid, and we will get sign-ups up as soon as possible. You will have to do a hot stint, so if you do ever plan to race in a GT3s, then we could put you in the right category for Pro-Am and for Pro. Once you've done the rules and regulations, once you've then done the hot stint as well, we will get you all set up and ready to go racing here at Simplay Motorsport. Like I said, fun events coming up as well. We've got the multi-class with all side series involved in that one. Ferrari Challenge, Super Trofeo, BMW M2s, and also the Porsche Super Cup. There are a couple in the pipelines as well, a couple that I've come up with in my mind, looking at obviously next year will be Audi's 25th anniversary since they won Le Mans, and possibly looking at an Audi event where we run the GT4s, the GT3s and the GT2s all at once around Paul Ricard to celebrate Audi's 25th anniversary since they first won Le Mans. And obviously I believe Mike has also said a one-night race where everyone runs the Retia. That could be interesting. Let me know if the stream is buffering a little bit. I'm not sure why. Hopefully it will sort itself out. And just turn all my internets off. Since I had that noise issue, it's not been running smoothly. But either way, we're into the final race of the season, round 1 of Donington. Diz and Matt Wright on the front row, BMW versus Aston. We wait for the green.
Green light, go, go, go.
We are green and go here at Donington Park as they head down towards turn number 1. And Diz looking like he's got the inside covered from Matt Wright as we look further back as Jamal Clouden goes a little bit wide, but it looks like Stephen Millington might have had a moment. He's gone round, he's collected multiple cars, and a lot of cars have gone off there, including Matthew Duffin, Jamal Clouden, Gary Leach, all these cars going off, and they're all trying to work their way back down the hill. That's John Andrews way off on track as well. An absolute carnage here at the start of this race, but Diz leading the way in his BMW ahead of Robert Ramsell in second, Matt Wright in third, Sam in second, Nuclear Waste Sam in fourth, Nuclear Waste in fifth, who's looking to attack his fellow teammate, and up the inside he goes. A job done there from him. And up in position he goes, Stardock in 6th, 7th is KLF, Darren Bell in 8th, 9th is Kieran O'Reilly, Matthew Duffin is 10th, Gary Leach, Clouden, Skunky, all these guys working their way through the order and trying to build themselves back up into this. But at this stage, at the moment, it will be Matthew Dumpin taking the championship here in race 1. It is also Skunky's 50th race here in the Ginetta. They head down towards Melbourne Hairpin. Around the outside, looks like Stardog trying to go on the attack of the Aston Martin, but cannot get the job done. Sorry, Sam. So Sam's under a little bit of pressure. Looks like he's got a bit of damage as well to the back end of his car. But Diz leading the way quite comfortably as Matt Wright trying to give him a bit of a headache as they head down towards the main straight once again. Or KLF in the background, just having a snap there on the rear as he tries to get the power down in the Ginetta. Meanwhile, Matthew Duffin trying to stick with O'Reilly, but O'Reilly's already on the move and it's down the inside of Darren Bell. Is he going to get the job done? Yes, he is. And up in position it goes at Kieran O'Reilly. He's back from not having a wheel for a while, and he's already looking to hunt down KLF in the leading Ginetta. What else is going on? Gary Leach at the minute defending heavily from Andy, Will Friedman, and who Darren's on the back of that scrapper as well as they head down towards Old Hairpin. We're currently on board with Skunky, not who I wanted to be on board with, but Will Friedman now looking to the outside of Andy. Is he going to get the job done up towards the far end of this circuit? It's going to be tricky going into McLean's, but he has to wait to make a move later on as who Darren has a sniff of an opportunity as well. He's going to come up the inside and try and head into Coppice, but he's not going to be far enough alongside, I don't think. No, he's not, and he's just, once again, just has to fall in position. Matt Wright, meanwhile, has taken second place away from Robert Ramsell, and Robert Ramsell's under pressure from Nuclear Waste, Sam and Stardog, and now KLF as well. I believe O'Reilly's in the middle of all that as well, and O'Reilly's sending it on KLF, but Nuclear Waste still can't find a way past Robert Ramsell as they all head up into the Melbourne chicane, and KLF sticking to the outside, holding that position on O'Reilly. Darren Bell comes in as well and goes up the inside of Matthew Duffin, and then once again into Goddard's the final corner, and everyone is just in this pack as Robert Ramsell has gone off, and it's now Nuclear Waste leading the way, but it is Matt Wright setting the pace, and the entire pack is in one space here. Darren Bell, meanwhile, under pressure from Matthew Duffin. Up the inside he goes. Darren Bell just about gives him enough room, and Matthew Duffin gets the position. Meanwhile, Stardog's lost the position to KLF. KLF's now on the move on to Sam and trying to attack the Aston Martins. Meanwhile, your leaders off and gone. Diz and Matt Wright leaving everyone else behind, but it's Nuclear Waste now leading this train of cars. But Stardog now looking to attack KLF, but here comes O'Reilly looking to try and make a move on the Porsche. He's up the inside, but Matthew Duffin has a look as well. Just a look for the moment, but Skunky setting fastest lap as he now gets onto the back of the pack. And I believe everyone all the way down to Ian McGowan is in this train of cars down to third place. As Nuclear Waste now starts to pull away from Sam, it's now KLF who's now starting to hold the pack up. Down towards the chicane we go as KLF just holds on to position against Stardog. Track limits is going to be key here as well. Stardog there on the rear wing of KLF. The Ginetta just struggling through the chicane ever so slow there, and Stardog has to go to the outside as KLF tries to brake later. He goes a little bit deep, but that's going to offer the door open to Stardog, and up the inside comes O'Reilly. And O'Reilly looks to try and get the job done, but KLF holds on to position. Into Goddard's they go, and O'Reilly's going to try and go around the outside. Stardog is still there though, and he has to concede the position to O'Reilly, so O'Reilly on the move. Next car for him is KLF. Meanwhile, Clouden with the damage to the front end of his Chevy Camaro, it's just holding in there at the minute with this mid-pack. As they all work their way through turn number one, Gary Leach just holding up the pack ever so slightly to this quartet of cars. As Diz tries to extend this gap on Matt Ryan, and everyone else following behind as KLF has got the entire pack behind him. Goes a little bit deep into turn of the old hairpin, but O'Reilly right on the rear wing of him once again is Stardog there as well. Matthew Duffin looking up the inside but can't find a way through at this stage. O'Reilly has to check up a minute, has to hit his brakes as KLF. Oh, there goes Darren Bell, big incident. He's off into the wall, damage to the front end of his car, but KLF still defending heavy through Coppice. He's going to have a better exit and a better run down towards the S's. But it's side by side for O'Reilly. He's going to be on the outside. Is he going to outbrake KLF here? No, he's not. KLF will get through the chicane first, but he's going to be a little bit slow on exit, and O'Reilly's going to have the opportunity up the inside. Meanwhile, Matthew Duffin's up the inside of Stardog as well. Down towards the hairpin we go, and KLF still holding it strong on the outside. They take a tighter line. He'll get a better exit. O'Reilly will be tighter, but KLF once again showing that he is one of the most difficult drivers to overtake. He's got such a good defensive drive, and O'Reilly still can't find a way through at this stage. Skunky's now joined the party. So Skunky's now onto the back of Duffin, and O'Reilly's trying everything he can to find a way through on KLF. He's now going to outbrake him towards turn number one. Yes, he is, but no, he's not, because KLF keeps it pinned around the outside. He will hang in there on the outside line, but O'Reilly gets the job done. O'Reilly now finally clears KLF as they head down towards the hill. 7 minutes worth of action already, and we've only got through race one. Meanwhile, Will Freeman right on the back of Clouden. Clouden has a moment through old hairpin and has to back out of it. He's had a moment there, and through goes a lot of cars there as O'Reilly now clears KLF and now tries to hunt down the Aston Martins. Meanwhile, Duffin has got Skunky right behind him, going to the outside of him. Is he going to get the job done here? No, Duffin holds on to the inside of Coppice. Will Skunky try and get a better exit? He hasn't got the straight line advantage, but he has got the grip. He has got the confidence. And already my voice is going. The Discord said that I was going to be busy tonight with 27 cars, and I am. My voice has already started to struggle here as Robert Ramsell goes a little bit deep through the chicane, and Skunky also has a moment through there, losing some time to Duffin, and now under pressure from Stardog. Gary Leach looking up the inside of Stardog and basically just barges his way through, and through goes Gary Leach. Job done for him as Will Friedman now also looking to pounce on the Porsche, just gets a little bit mugged by a few of the cars. Stardog still up the inside there, and Friedman trying to go around the outside, can't get the job done there and loses traction towards the end. Back to KLF once again. That's where all the action has been. And Matthew Duffin is trying to find a way through. His Skunky looking to the outside of turn number 1 on Duffin. Goes a little bit wide and onto the dirt he goes. That's going to lose him momentum. Meanwhile, Sam has caught Nuclear Waste as they're being hunted down by O'Reilly, who's just literally dropped everyone else. And KLF is literally holding up this train. Doing a fantastic job of it though. Brilliant defensive drive from him at this stage. The 36, that is Jamal Clouden, track limits for him, and he's got a drive through to serve. Probably trying to compensate for the damage on the front end of that Chevy Camaro. I see there O'Reilly just kicking up the dirt. We'll have a quick look at the leaders. Diz, meanwhile, still in front. Matthew Wright has caught him up though, so that's come down 1.2. Nuclear Waste to Sam, and O'Reilly's nearly with Sam. Meanwhile, KLF still leading Matthew Duffins for 6th, 7th, and 8th is Skunky. 9th is Gary Leach, who's just ahead of Stardog, and Will Freeman, who is still battling hard, as Robert Ramsell is in 12th. Jamal Clouden 13th. Drive through to serve as KLF now gets a drive through. Through the chicane, that has ruined his race, as Andy will go through, as will McGowan, Taylor, Jamie, Tipping, Smith, Old Sim Racer, Bell, Susie, DJ Phil, John Andrews in the pit lane, and Stephen Millington at the back of the pack. But KLF straight away there gets a drive through, as Skunky's going to send up the inside of Matthew Duffin, and they've come together. Will Friedman hits him as well. And Matt now waits, and Skunky waits as well, as KLF into the drive-through he goes, as is Jamal Clouden. And definitely end up in the middle of all that, as Will Freeman benefits from that one as well. Duffin has he got going? Yes, he has. So has Skunky. And O'Reilly now on the move to try and attack the two Aston Martin drivers of the FBR crew. Drive-through clear for KLF. Where did that drop him in the end? He's ahead of Darren Bell, so he's behind Old Sim Race, so he's still got a bit of a fight to go, so that's handy for him. But Diz still leading, but he's being hunted down by Matt Wright relatively quickly here, and Matt Wright onto the back of him now. Nuclear Waste pulling away from Sam, but O'Reilly's joined them on the party. Now Gary Leach is the leading car of this group, but Friedman now in 7th, but there's no group anymore, as Robert Ramsell is in 8th, Andy in 9th, and 10th is McGowan. Taylor in 11th, Stardog is in 12th ahead of Jamie, and then Matthew Duffin returning. As there in the background is Rob Smith. He's had a moment, he's gone off track, and he's going to get himself back on circuit as quickly as he possibly can without causing any incidents. He manages to do so. But your leaders are now coming towards the 9th minute of this race. One vote only going to Diz, so not a lot of people voting in the chat, and we'd like to see more votes if possible, please, guys, for the last round of the season. But Diz setting the pace, still leading this race. He's 9/10 ahead of Matt Wright, who's trying to hunt him down. Nuclear Waste, meanwhile, is in 3rd, and Kieran O'Reilly has done Sam. So Sam's struggling here in his Aston Martin. Kieran O'Reilly's next target is Nuclear Waste. Gary Leach, meanwhile, trying to keep Will Friedman behind him. The very fast Porsche, a little bit of damage to the front end of his car, possibly when he collected Skunky after him and Matt came together. Robert Zaranzo's going to go a little bit wide there, under pressure from Andy and McGowan. As they head down, the crane occurs. Through old airpin, once again, Robert Ramsell runs wide, and Andy has a think about it. But he can't find a way through at this stage. He's looking to the inside of him, and he still can't find a way through. Meanwhile, Skunky has cleared KLF by the list of things. We go back to this Robert Ramsell, Andy and McGowan. Now Taylor is now onto the back of this lot as well, as they go down the Simplay straight. Meanwhile, Diz is under pressure from Matthew Wright. Matthew Wright looking up the inside of the hairpin at Melbourne. Now towards the outside of Goddard's. And can we get a good exit here and down this main straight towards Redgate? But he's trying to get a good exit, but he's not quite close enough to Diz on that one. That BMW is very fast in a straight line. Meanwhile, Kieran O'Reilly is hunting down Nuclear Waste, and he is absolutely flying. And just behind them as well is Gary and Will Friedman banging doors. And Friedman manages to get ahead of him and gets the job done. But Gary's coming back up the inside, but thinks better of it, as Robert Ramsell still defending heavily from Andy, McGowan and Taylor. Meanwhile, Skunky is onto the back of Tipping here. He can't find a way through at this minute. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Diz is still ahead of Matt Wright at this stage. But Matt Wright is going to be running out of time shortly. Kieran O'Reilly's done Nuclear Waste. So O'Reilly up into the podium positions here. And can he hunt down the top two with 6 minutes left, 7 seconds to gain, unless they start fighting hard? I don't see it happening. Robert Ramsell still ahead of this lot, but McGowan's going to look up the inside now, heading up towards Coppice. Up the inside he goes. Can Dan Taylor follow him through as Andy goes a little bit offline, and he can't quite stay with McGowan on the exit there. And Taylor looking for the opportunity to go slithering up the inside of Andy into the S's. Is he close enough? No, he's not. He'll just have to sit behind him a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Diz and Matt Wright still fighting it out for second and first place positions. O'Reilly will keep an eye on the delta between those two, because it's 7.7. These two separated by half a second, and they're going at it hard as they head down towards turn number one. In the background is the red Ginetta, and already 6/10 taken out of him is not enough, as now Friedman looks to try and chase down the Aston Martins. Robert Ramsell, though, still struggling in his Aston. He's got McGowan breathing down his neck. Is he going to try and send it into turn number one? He thought about it, but not quite close enough this time round. Down the crane as they go once again. McGowan quite close to the back of Robert Ramsell. Robert Ramsell once again goes a little bit wide through Old Hairpin. That's going to give McGowan a good opportunity to run up towards McLean's. But again, you can defend quite easily around here, as Robert Ramsell possibly got a little bit right, but McGowan's hit a curb on the inside of McLean's, and that's unsettled the car, and now Andy's going to look to retain that position, but he can't find a way through at this stage. Meanwhile, Matt Wright got within 3/10 of Diz, but they went through the chicane and looked like he built that gap back up. Sam, meanwhile, is on the back of Nuclear Waste, as Will Freeman not quite onto the back of him just yet, but Andy back on McGowan once again. And Diz still just trying to hang in there right to the very end. 3/10 is the gap. They cross the line now. It is 4/10. So Matt Wright is getting closer, but he's running out of time. In the background is the red Ginetta of O'Reilly. 6.3 is the gap, and I still don't think it'll be enough, as we've got this Aston Martin fight. The FBR boys trying to go for who's second best. Obviously, Diz is the fastest FBR driver at this stage. And right now, Nuclear Waste has got that privilege over him and Sam at this stage. Friedman's just creeping onto the back of him. And here comes Matt Wright once again. Can get onto the back of the BMW, but the BMW is so good in a straight line, it's tricky to find a way through. As Skunky comes into the pits. And through a chicane they go. Into the final couple of corners here. We've probably got 2 more laps to go, and it's still Diz and Matt Wright going at it. Meanwhile, Robert Ramsell, as Sam's dropped down the order. Sam's dropped to 11, and he's got major damage to the front end of his car. So what has happened to Sam here? Possibly at the McLean's corner, possibly went into the inside wall. Was very easily done, as Skunky has returned to the pits, and I don't think he's going to be coming back out in this one. Meanwhile, KLF and Jamal Clouden, they're going at it, 2 tenths separating them, as Clouden's going to have the edge going down towards the hairpin. Both of these two serving a drive-through, and Clouden up the inside, job done. Nope, as KLF gets the exit and the run, and a much better traction for him as they head down towards the final corner. Once again, Stephen Millington is behind them, but he's a lap down at this stage. So just kind of doing a test session for him. And once again, your top two Nothing separating, and Matt Wright can't find a way through at the minute on Diz. McGowan now has passed Ramsell, and he's up a few places as Andy now trying to look on Ramsell but can't find any opportunity at this stage. Duffin's onto the back of Jamie. And Taylor's, whoa! Not sure where Taylor's gone. He's gone very off, avoiding Sandbar. Listen, Stardog nearly hits the back of him. Meanwhile, KLF and Clouden are going side by side as they head up towards the top of the hill. And McLean's up the inside goes. Clouden, has he gone a little bit too deep? No, he's got it done as KLF has a slide, has a moment, and looks to the inside of the Camaro, but can't find a way through. Meanwhile, Diz will start his final lap here, and Matt Wright is still right with him. Jamal Clouden now clearing KLF, so KLF having some issues towards the end of this race. Will Friedman now has caught Nuclear Waste. The gap between O'Reilly and Matt Wright is now 3.9, so still not enough for O'Reilly. So it's down to the top two. But here comes Friedman now. Friedman in the Porsche. Down the hill he goes, but he can't get close enough. Diz, meanwhile, is extending the gap to a second. So Matt Wright has made a mistake somewhere and has lost time to the BMW. And I think as long as Daz keeps it facing the right way, facing the right way, it is looking like it's going BMW. Anything else going out on track at this stage? Freeman close to Nuclear Waste, but can't get the gap at the minute. And Jamie's under pressure from Matthew Duffin. Stardog and Dan Taylor coming through. They go through the chicane. Diz still ahead of Matt Wright. But into the final few corners they come now. Matt Wright has put on a fantastic effort here. He's tried his very best. But Diz has been flawless here. Absolutely flawless as they exit the final corner here. Diz exits the final corner and gets the win to his name. Diz wins race one here. And congratulations to him. In second, we're going Matt Wright. O'Reilly will finish in third, 2.4 in the end of those guys. And Friedman just gets Nuclear Waste right at the end to finish in P4. P5 will go Nuclear Waste. Gary P6 in the end. McGowan finishing in 7th place. With Andy coming home in 8th. Robert Ramsell in 9th. Jamie dropped down in the end behind Matthew Duffin. So Matthew Duffin gets 10th. Jamie gets 11th. Stardog gets 12th. Or does he? No. Dan Taylor's just got him at the very end there. So Dan Taylor 12th. Stardog 13th. Tipping in 14th. Clouden in 15th. KLF in 16th. Susie is going to finish in 17th place position. Old Sim Racer is going to finish in P18. Rob Smith will finish in... Oh, what's going on here? DJ Phil and Darren Bell have both gone off by the looks of things. No, that's John Andrews. Sorry, Rob Smith now is going to come home for P19. DJ Phil will finish in 20th. Darren Bell will finish in 20th ahead of DJ Phil, with then John Andrews in 24th, Sam returning to the pits earlier on. But Diz wins the race here ahead of Matt Wright, ahead of O'Reilly. We'll be back in a few moments' time as we will see where we are in the championship standings and go from there. But nonetheless, Diz winning the first race here. We'll be seeing you in a few moments' time.
green light. Go, go, go.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the channel, as we are now going to get our second qualifying session underway, and it's Jamal Clouden, the first one to make it out on track. And first things first, may I just say a massive congratulations to this man right here in the red, grey and green Mercedes-Benz. Matthew Duffin takes another title to his name. He wins the GT4 Championship as we predicted in race 1. He takes the title tonight, and now he can go into these two final races with a little bit of fun and enjoy himself as they go into this final couple of races here. But Matthew Duffin is your GT4 Championship winner, and if Matthew is listening, I think you should do like the rest of the fast boys and not qualify for race 3. I think you should start from the very back of the pack. Let's see what you can do in that Mercedes-Benz to end this season off. But he is a champion here at Simplay Motorsport once again. It is going to be, though, Jamal Clouden to set the place in his Chevy Camaro. And with the championship standings, let's have a look at where we stand. Matthew Duffin leading the way, obviously called champion now as well. So congratulations to him. Will Freeman in second place still, and he's got a comfortable lead over Jamal Clouden. Skunky, though, isn't a million miles away behind, so he's going to try and score and outscore him as much as he can, as Gary Leach has pretty much secured that 5th place position. Andy, meanwhile, has been chased by Darren, as Alton races in 8th. Matt Wright is in 9th, with 10th going the way of McGowan, and it's a close fight between McGowan and Matt Wright there. Tipping is in that fight, as is Sam. With 13th place is KLF ahead of Darren Taylor in 14th. 15th is Stardog. 16th is Nuclear Waste. 117th is Kieran O'Reilly. Rob Smith in 18th, with Stephen Millington in 19th place position. 20th is Darren Bell, with 21st going the way of DJ Phil. 22nd is Susie, and in 23rd is Diz. Matthew Collins 24th. Alistair in 25th, Jamie in 26th, Rolo in 27th, 28th is Robert Ramsell, with Lucas in 29th, Shane 30th, Sky Schondermeyer 31st, John Andrews in 32nd, and John Goudet in 33rd position. So like I said, another congratulations to Matthew Duffin on winning the title. Jamal Clouden, though, is going to set the pace in the Chevy Camaro. Let's see what he can do here, as O'Reilly is going to be second to come to the line as well. So a couple of drivers having a little bit of mistakes going through their lights, as Jamal Clouden comes towards Goddard's and try and get that big brute of a car turned in as best he can, and heading to the white line he comes. What is the pace going to be? It's a 35.2, but what does O'Reilly do? He does a 34.9, and he goes in P3 as Matthew Duffin flashing the lights there, not sure why. As now we got Rob Smith crossing the line, he goes in P5, with now McGowan going into P2. And Skunky did not get a lap time on the board. Matt Wright now coming to the line. No lap time for him. Stephen Millington does get a lap time as Gary Leach goes into P3. So good lap time from him. And once again, Darren Bell, not a lap time for him either. So guys struggling to put a lap time on the first couple of laps here. And this will be their last chance pretty much as they come across the line. I think Jamal Clouden's got 2 efforts, possibly 3 efforts, as KLF goes into P7. Possibly more time under the belt for that one. And Nuclear Waste goes into P5. The final quarter now comes Robert Ramsell, and he now takes that P5 position as Jamie now exits the final corner. And just in the background, the other cars, as Jamie goes into P10. Who's in the final sector here? DJ Phil is on a lap going through this final few corners. I believe it's Sam coming to the line now. Yes, it is. 15th at the minute, no lap time, but he will get another go here, and this will be his last chance here. As DJ Phil now coming to the line, as Jamal Clouden will get another lap time on the board if he does try to improve. Currently 3/10 off of Kieran O'Reilly at the minute, but there goes Jamal Clouden exiting the final corner. 3/10 off at the minute. Does he improve? No, but O'Reilly 34.2 goes fastest as Ian McGowan's looking to try and make some time, as Gary Leach has returned to the pits. Will Friedman gets within 7/10 of O'Reilly as everyone else now crosses the line. Skunky only goes P4. Where does Diz go? He goes P10. And what can Matt Wright do? Matt Wright coming to the line. He gets a lap time on the board. He goes 12th. Stephen Millington goes into 11th. And just in the final corner comes John Andrews, I believe. Yes, he does. He goes into 19th. Stardog bails on his lap. Who's still yet to put a lap time on the board? Sam, but he's in the pits. DJ Phil still yet to complete his lap. As Robert Ramsell now coming to the end of his run. But Nuclear Waste first to the line. He goes into 11th. With Robert Ramsell now exiting the final corner. Currently 9th at the minute. Can he find an improvement? He goes up to 8th place. KLS return to the pits. Jamie now exiting the final corner. Currently 15th at the minute. Any improvement from him? No improvement there. Who is still on a lap? Everyone's in the pits. O'Reilly is still on another lap. Everyone's pretty much done. DJ Phil's done. Sam's done. Who else is on a lap? I can't see who. Is Matthew Duffin still on a lap? So he's 9th at the 9th at this current stage. But O'Reilly takes pole position at this minute unless Matthew Duffin can pull something out of the bag. But O'Reilly is on an improvement, a 34.2. Can he find more time than that? Yes, he does. He does a 34.0. And that's a good lap time for him. Matt in the end finishes in 6th. O'Reilly taking pole position. Yes, he's been away for a little bit. He's finally got his wheel back and sorted. And look at the pace he is setting. Fastest overall in that qualifying session. An absolutely brilliant lap time from him there. Let's get the pole going now for race 2 winner. But O'Reilly, a fantastic lap time from him there. So is he going to take this race to win? I know Will Friedman will be trying his very best to make sure that doesn't happen. But McGowan, a good lap time from him there in the other Mercedes. Obviously, that's got no weight on board as well. So we'll see what he can do in that 3rd place position. And Skunky as well in the other Ginetta. Only managed to get 1 lap time on the board. Another quick Ginetta that could possibly look to move his way forward in this one. Guys, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at Simplay Motorsport, especially when we got our new fun events coming around the corner as well. They are going to be a right laugh, and we're going to be looking forward to that one. As we are going to get ourselves ready to go for
20 seconds.
The second to last race of this GT4 season. And it is O'Reilly and Friedman on the front row. Friedman with a bit of bad luck throughout this season. What would have happened if that luck kind of went his way? It would have been awesome to see what he could have done. O'Reilly, if he'd been there all season long, would he have been in contention of trying to win the title as well? Obviously, we won't know, sadly. But nonetheless, we have been treated to a fantastic final race here. Guys, get your votes in on who you think is going to win this one. If you don't agree with what I put in the chat, then feel free to put whoever you think in the chat. As they all head themselves for, like I said, the penultimate time here in the GT4 Championship. And a reminder as well, don't forget guys to have a look at our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport as well. Please hit those hearts in the chat. Support these drivers. They're going to do this 2 more times. And it is the Ginetta on pole position here. The home of Simplay Motorsport, Donington Park. Come on, guys, let's hear from you in the chat. Like, come on. If you do remember most of the season, then let me hear what you think was the best part of this season for the GT4s. What stands out in your eyes has been the best race or the best overall championship contention throughout this season? there's been so much that's happened this season. Just obviously, like I said, the closeness of these cars has been phenomenal. It's been brilliant. I'm just trying to think of a race that stands to mind. Like I said, there's been so many great events here. It's just been brilliant to watch all winter long. And amazing as well, only the GT4s, I believe, are the only cars this season that have had wet weather. So, yeah, the GT3s, I think the Pro-Ams had a sprinkling of rain, but the pros haven't had a single bit of wet weather this season. And when looking at the radar, the wet weather isn't coming. There's rain lurking for Pro-Am, but it misses the race. And there's obviously nothing for the pros. So the pros get away lightly this season. As we now come to the final corner, Skunky and Friedman on the front row. Porsche versus Ginetta. Great Britain versus Germany. Skunky and McGowan though right behind. Championship is all but done. Let's have some fun for the final few times here at Donington Park. We are green and go here at Donington Park as we head down towards turn number 1. The Porsche should gain the advantage in a straight line, but O'Reilly will be brave into turn 1. He'll send it up the inside. Yes, he does. And the Porsche gets pushed out wide as we all head down towards the crane of curves, and around goes Skunky. He's been hit. Not sure by who, but he's gone right off. He's now in the middle of the track. I don't know who's managed to avoid him. There's absolute carnage everywhere, cars everywhere. And Skunky ended up the worst out of all that. He got spun round. I'm not sure who spun him round. But O'Reilly now up towards the hill as Matthew Duffin and Gary Leach are going at it. Matthew up the inside of Gary Leach, and they make contact, and Gary goes wide, and off the track he goes. But up the inside comes Jamal Clowder now on the Ginetta. Meanwhile, Diz has managed to stick with this group. And then there's this whole gaggle of cars after. And Stephen Millington and KLF has managed to negotiate all the drama. But O'Reilly and Friedman going at it. Friedman looking up the inside of the chicane, but Friedman covers, can't get through there as O'Reilly keeps him behind. McGowan on his own at the stage. And he's got Matthew Dunphin hunting him down in the other Mercedes. Jamal Clowder now trying to pull away from Gary Leach as up the inside goes Diz. He's going to try and be later on the brakes than Gary, but he can't do so. And he has to fall in position. Meanwhile, KLF looking to make a move on Stephen Millington, but can't find a way through. No gap comes up and no opportunity comes for KLF. Meanwhile, O'Reilly still leads the first lap of this race, but Will Friedman is going to give him a hard fight. I know that. And in the background, KLF has hit Stephen Millington. And around he goes. He has to wait for everyone else to go around. And KLF now has to continue on through. But down the crane of curves we go once again. A little bit of messy driving going on here, I think, as it's coming to the end of the season. But Kieran O'Reilly through the old hairpin, still ahead of Will Friedman, as Ian's just in the background trying to hunt them down. Once again, you can just see where the Ginetta's quite strong in this sector, quite confident through the corners, and just has an edge over the Porsche. He runs a little bit wide there as Will Friedman gets a little bit closer. KLF, meanwhile, is pulled away from Rob Smith and is trying to pull away from Sam as best he can. He's not going to be able to catch onto the back of this leading group. But once again, O'Reilly down towards the chicane, still ahead of Friedman. McGowan on his own, Duff in there, and Jamal Clowden has passed Gary Leach and is now setting his sights on Matthew Duffin as he bounces over the curb there. Sam trying to chase down KLF. Up the inside comes John Andrews. He's missed his brakes. And straight across the chicane he goes. Does he keep it together? No, he doesn't. And around he goes. Trying to return back on track safely. Meanwhile, O'Reilly looked like he went wide in the final corner, and that's going to give Will Friedman an opportunity, but he's not close enough. Meanwhile, Gary Leach is right on the rear wing of Jamal Clowden, so Jamal didn't have a good run through there as KLF still in that 8th place position. What else is going on here? Matt Wright up the inside of Stardog has hit old Sim Racer, but has spun him back round and straightened him back up. Now Skunky's trying to maneuver his way through all of this as Matt Wright is trying to allow old Sim Racer through, I think. No, he's not. I'm not sure what is happening here, but there's cars everywhere and Skunky's in the middle of all of it. And DJ Phil was in this fight also. He's run wide. Matt Wright's up the inside of him. And through goes Matt Wright on DJ Phil. And Skunky now on the rear wing of old Sim Racer. Droid hairpin up towards McLean's. Oh, Skunky thought about the inside on old Sim Racer. Old Sim Racer nearly missed his brace and went into the back of Jamie instead. We go back to your leaders. Is O'Reilly still away from Friedman, who sets fastest lap of the race, and he is right on the rear wing of that Ginetta. McGowan's pulled away from Duffin, and Gary Leach has passed Clouden. So Clouden now stuck behind the Ginetta as Diz is right with him as well. KLF meanwhile has still got a gap to Sam in that 8th place position. But O'Reilly and Friedman once again going at it as O'Reilly gets a better exit out of the final corner. Gary Leach meanwhile very wide, and Jamal Clouden's in the slipstream, in the toe of the Ginetta. The Ginetta struggles in a straight line, and the Chevy is better in a straight line. Up the inside does Jamal Clouden go. And a little touch there as Gary holds onto the position as Clouden flashing the lights. Diz flashing lights actually, so he's looking interested in this one. More chaos happening further back as we see Skunky here looking to work his way through. That is a slow car. That is Nuclear Waste. He's staying out of the way. He's a back marker. And DJ Phil and Jamie going at it as Skunky is right behind him. DJ Phil makes a mistake there and through goes Skunky. Old Sim Racer looks down the crane of curves. That is a brave move, but it does not pay off at all as DJ Phil goes very wide and Old Sim Racer will get that position. And around the outside goes John Andrews. No, Skunky. No, Nuclear Waste is that? Yeah, that's Nuclear Waste going around the outside of DJ Phil. And DJ Phil gets that position back. Kieran O'Reilly, though, 1 second ahead of Friedman. That seems to have controlled itself. McGowan's got Matthew Duffin covered as Gary Leach and Jamal Clouden and Diz are all still going at it. And Diz has managed to do the undercut on Clouden, but he can't quite get the run. He's bouncing over the curb and he can't get alongside the Camaro. Meanwhile, Dan Taylor is now onto the back of Sam. And McGowan's pit. McGowan's pit. Is he low on fuel? He must have been low on fuel. So McGowan now pits. So Sam and all these guys will promote up a position. But Sam and Dan Taylor going at it at the minute. And Jamal Clouden still got the BMW of Diz hunting him down as they head down the crane of curbs. Diz looking to try and make a move through old hairpin. Can't quite do so there. Little snap there from the rear of the BMW. Will Freeman and O'Reilly seems to have got each other matched at this stage. Meanwhile, Matt Wright is looking to make a move on Robert Ramsell. Where is Skunky? He's still down in 20th position. So he's had another coming together with someone. Because he was ahead of Old Sim Racer and DJ Phil there. Old Sim Racer allows Skunky through there. Oh, and Dan Taylor's off. Dan Taylor is off. That releases Sam. And here comes Robert Ramsell with Matt Wright breathing down his neck. And Matt Wright now looking to the outside, heading towards the chicane. Robert Ramsell with damage to the front end of his car. He pretty much can't fight him here as Matt Wright does get the job done. Probably to track limits while he was at it. But he has got the position done on Robert Ramsell into Melbourne. Hairpin they go, and Robert Ramsell can't fight back. As Tipping now looking up the inside. And Sam has caught KLF, so KLF I think has had a mistake somewhere because he had a comfortable gap over Sam, and Sam is now there as out the pits comes John Andrews right in the path of cars. And once again, Will Friedman has caught O'Reilly back up. Will Friedman can't get close enough to O'Reilly at this stage. Matthew Duffin, Gary Leach and Clouden seem to have a even gap at the minute as Diz has made a mistake. He's got damage to his car by the looks of things. He's quite slow, so Sam and KLF could gain another position here from Diz. Not sure if there's been any contact between him and Clouden, but Diz is a little bit slow here as KLF and Sam go through the kink. McGowan's a bit off from these guys as Stardog now in 10th. Rob Smith ahead of Matt Wright, Robert Ramsell tipping Susie, Stephen Mellington, Skunky, Old Sim Racer, DJ Phil, Andy, John Andrews, Jamie, and then Nuclear Waste at the back. Coming to the halfway stage of this race. And once again, O'Reilly still defending from Friedman, who sets fastest lap of the race now. As Jamie now comes on to track. And Clouden has now caught Gary Leach, as both of them have started to catch Matthew Duffin as well. As did... Oh, and Sam has hit the back of KLF. And KLF gets it spinning round. McGowan's going to benefit from that. Sam is going to wait for KLF. And through goes KLF. Sam gives the position back. Stardog gains the position out of it as well. And in the background, Matt Wright has now got Robert Ramsell, and now Rob Smith has got past him as well. There's a whole gaggle of cars here. Skunky, meanwhile, is ahead of Nuclear Waste. A lapped car, obviously. 210 separating the leaders, and Jamie's now coming into play here. So how is Jamie going to pan out this second race here? They go through the chicane. Jamie pretty much goes straight on out the chicane. He needs to make sure he stays out of the way of the leaders. O'Reilly has to go to the inside. Friedman goes with him, and Jamie, bit of a hindrance there. He tries to stay out of the way as best he can, but that's going to put O'Reilly under pressure. Friedman up the inside. Not better traction there, and Will Friedman saw an opportunity possibly there with the back marker, but couldn't quite pounce. Meanwhile, Matthew Duffin is under some immense pressure from Jamal Clouden and Gary Leach. And Gary Leach nearly hitting Clouden there, but he sends up the inside. He gets it stopped as well. And Jamal Clouden has to fall back behind Gary Leach once again. And O'Reilly's made a mistake. O'Reilly's gone wide in turn one, and that has allowed Will Friedman into the lead. So Will Friedman now leads this race. Can O'Reilly get that position back? That is the question. Meanwhile, Gary Leach and Clouden are still battling while they've caught Matthew Duffin, but not really done anything with it since. Meanwhile, Sam has cleared all of these lot, as looks like KLF's got more damage to his car. Yes, he has. And Sam's pulled away from this lot as Rob Smith now into turn one with Robert Ramsell tipping Susie, Stephen Millington, Skunky, Matt, KLF. I'm not sure who else is in that. That's Nuclear Waste in the middle of all that as well. A lapped car. But all those cars battling it hard for 10th place position. Rob Smith there running wide. Robert Ramsell looking to go around the outside. Skunky's in the middle of this scrap as well with Susie. Oh, that's going to be sketchy as Skunky looks and can't find a way through. They're all looking left, they're looking right, they're looking for any opportunity. Skunky's in a really dangerous position, and off goes Susie, goes wide. And inside goes Skunky. Matt Wright is now going to try and mug him, but he's not quite going to get him as they head down towards the chicane. And Rob Smith had to straight line the chicane there. Meanwhile, Friedman still under pressure from O'Reilly. O'Reilly's coming back for him. And down the crane occurs they go. Gary Leach and Clouden have all gone. And Ian McGowan's in the pits again. And he's speeding down there. I'm not sure why he's done that. He's got himself a stop and go. I'm not sure why he's done that. Freeman, meanwhile, still defending from O'Reilly. Matthew Duffin's got a comfortable gap now to Gary Leach and Jamal Clouden. Diz on his own, as is Stardog. McGowan's got himself a stop and go for I don't know what. A bit stupid driving through the pit lane. He's been through there twice now. Robert Ramsdell's in 10th and is still defending from Tipping and Skunky. And through McLean's they go. They keep on the gap on the leaders. As Skunky's looking to try and make that move on Tipping here. 4:10, so Riley not quite got the gist of Freeman at this stage. Into the chicane they go. Skunky looks to the inside, tries to force Tipping to make a mistake. No run through there. Rob Smith, meanwhile, is under pressure from Matt Wright. KLF's not a million miles away behind them. But we go back to your leaders. Will Friedman still ahead of O'Reilly. And Friedman seems to be under control at this stage. 5 minutes to go, as once again McGowan's into the pit lane to do his stop and go. Through the S's they come through. O'Reilly, no answer to Friedman at this stage. And Matt Wright has cleared Rob Smith. KLF now onto the back of Rob Smith as well. Can he find a way past the Alpine? But we've still got this fight with Robert Ramsdell, Tipping and Skunky. And once again up towards McLean's we go. Skunky's up the inside of Tipping's before they even get to McLean's, and job done for him. KLF now onto the back of Rob Smith. Goes to the inside of Coppice. But not able to do anything with that. At the minute, KLF's had a great exit out of Coppice though. He's going to look to the inside of the S's. Brave to do there, and stop and go cleared for Ian McGowan. And Rob Smith goes through ahead of KLF. And once again, O'Reilly can't stick with Friedman here. Friedman now with clean air seems to be in a little bit more of a controlled state of this race. And now it is between the old good friends of Duffin and Leach. Gary Leach in the Ginetta looking a little bit more comfortable than Duffin at this stage. Up towards McLean's we go. Now Gary just trying to get Duffin to make a mistake here. Meanwhile, Tipping has got Matt Wright right behind him. KLF has cleared Rob Smith as well. So job done for him. And once again, O'Reilly gets close, but not close enough. Gary Leach looks to the inside of the S's on Matthew Duffin, trying to force him to make an error. And Gary's had a great run through the chicane, possibly a track limits warning, but he's probably got enough to keep him ahead here, and he's going to try and get the job done. Matthew Duffin, no, is going to lose the position here. Or is he? He's going to get a better exit out of Melbourne hairpin and have the inside for Goddard's. But Gary's going to try and go all the way around the outside. And Matthew Duffin holds on to that position. Meanwhile, Tipping and Matt Wright are going side by side, and Tipping holds on to that position. So no move there for him. Meanwhile, Robert Ramsdell is still under pressure from Skunky as old sim racer now gets a drive through. Jamal Clouden needs to try and get onto the back of these two, but I don't think it's going to happen. He's going to run out of time. Your leaders, though, still close to one another. They're on the penultimate lap here. They'll start their final lap in a few moments' time. But Will Friedman is hanging on to that position. So Old Sim Racer has been reminded to do his drive-through. Has Skunky cleared Robert Ramsell? No, he hasn't. DJ Phil's still got Susie Green behind him. Dan Taylor's returned to the pits. He's been there for 5 laps. Matt Wright still can't find a way through on tipping. Oh, and Gary Leach has a moment through the S's. Stardog now also under pressure from Sam as your leaders exit the final corner. O'Reilly has brought the gap down to 3/10. This is the fight for the win. Friedman versus O'Reilly. And they got a big gap to Matthew Duffin, who's only now exiting the final corner. Nowhere in sight are the two leaders. 16 seconds is the gap, and Gary Leach is right behind him. Not going to send it in turn number 1. O'Reilly behind Friedman. Towards McLean's they come. Now Coppice. Friedman still ahead. Meanwhile, Tipping still ahead of Matt Wright. Gary's not done anything to Duffin just yet. We go back to your leaders. O'Reilly's got possibly 2 opportunities left. And through the chicane they go. Old Sim Racer is going to have to take the penalty. O'Reilly's had a better run through the chicane than Friedman, but it's not enough as they head into Melbourne hairpin. He'll need to make sure he gets a good exit. Friedman's gone wide. Friedman has gone wide. O'Reilly side by side into the final corner. They head to Goddard's. Is he going to try and go around the outside? Is he going to try and pick up the apex and try and get a better exit? Friedman, O'Reilly. It is going to be Friedman. He hangs in there just at the very end. Will Friedman wins that one from O'Reilly. In second is going to be Matthew Duffin. Or is it? Gary's been given the position. And he's gone deep, which doesn't help. But Gary Leach will get 3rd place position ahead of Matthew Duffin, ahead of Jamal Clouden. Diz is going to finish in a solid P6. McGowan crossed the line in 20th. Skunky finished 19th. Stardog is going to finish in our 7th place position ahead of Sam. And there's quite a big gaps from there and onwards. Matt Wright eventually did get Tipping in the end. Finally got the job done on him. But Stardog comes to the line and finishes in 7th place position. Sam is going to finish this race off in 8th place. 9th is going to go the way of Tipping. Eventually, Matt Wright couldn't get him in the end. KLF will finish in 11th. Andy will finish in 12th. Old Sim Racer will finish in 13th. That is, I'm not sure who that is. I think that's Nuclear Waste the wrong way around. DJ Phil is just going to get beaten by Susie Cream right at the end, I think. Who's it going to be? DJ Phil stays ahead of Susie in the end. Robert Ramsdell in 16th. Rob Smith will finish in 17th place ahead of Stephen Millington with big damage to the front end of his car. And John Andrews aligned and Jamie already in the pits. What a dramatic race that was. Will Friedman, though, taking the win ahead of O'Reilly, ahead of Gary Leach. That was race 2. We'll be back in a few moments' time to bring you the final race of the season. We'll be back in a few moments' time.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we are going to get ourselves underway for the final qualifying of the season. Who is going to take the final bragging rights of this GT4 season? It has been a phenomenal night, a week's worth of racing here in the GT4s. It's been awesome bringing all the action here, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Let's end this season on a high and see what happens in this final race tonight. Reminder as well, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be notified, because these GT4s have been absolutely amazing, and if they're coming back next season, expect more fantastic racing with them. As already you can see, we're not even into the race and already fighting for position at the minute, all fighting to get in that qualifying position so that they can get the best lap time on the board. But it is going to be, I think, Jamal Clouden once again, and the tyre wall is already gone, which is That tyre wall never really seems to survive. As we head into a Melbourne hairpin. And you can see there Tipping and KLF fighting for positions. And let's have a recap of the championship standings going into the final race here. Jamal Clouden is going to be the man to first to set the lap time around here. Final qualifying session of this season. Championship standings is as followed. Matthew Duffin, champion, ahead of Friedman, ahead of Jamal Clouden. Skunky can't catch him now, so the top three is confirmed from Duffin, from Friedman, from Clouden is your top three in the championship. Skunky P4, P5 is Gary Leach, P6 is Andy, P7 is Hugh Darren, P8 is Old Sim Racer, P9 is Matt Wright, ahead of McGowan in 10th, Tipping in 11th, Sam in 12th, with KLF in 13th, 14th is Stardog, 15th is Dan Taylor, with 16th going away of Kieran O'Reilly. Nuclear Waste in 17th, with Rob Smith in 18th. 19th is Stephen Millington. In 20th is Darren Bell. 21st is DJ Phil, ahead of Susie in 22nd. 23rd is Diz, with 24th going away of Matthew Collins. 25th is Alistair Cummins, with Jamie in that 26th position, with Rolo in 27th. 28th is Robert Ramsell. 29th is Lucas. 30th is Shane. 31st is Luke Sky Schondermeyer, ahead of 32 of John Andrews, and John Goudet rounds off the championship standings. Jamal Clouden comes to the line now to set a lap time, and what is it going to be? There is no lap time on the board. Is anyone going to set a lap time on the board as everyone crosses the line? No lap is being confirmed, except for Diz, who does the 35.5. KLF, does he get a lap time on the board? No! Everyone there, except for Diz, failing to put a lap time on the board. John Andrews now comes to the line. And no lap time from... Oh, it does get a lap time. He goes into second, but Stephen Millington beats him to it as he goes into second himself. McGowan goes into fourth, as Matt Wright now goes into P3 position. As we see a couple more lap times coming on the board, Nuclear Waste goes into P4, with Sam going into P2. That is Gary Leach now coming out of the final corner. Is he going to get a lap time on the board? No, he does not. As Robert Ramsell coming to the far end of this circuit to put a lap time on the board. I think there's a couple more cars coming to the line, and I believe Stardog goes into P5, and I believe once again, Will Friedman is opting not to qualify, as is Skunky. So we'll see what those guys can do from the back of the pack. Robert Ramsell, though, to the line. No lap time on the board. We go back to Jamal Clouden, who's into the hairpin, and he's got O'Reilly right behind him. Like I said, who's going to take the glories for this final qualifying session? Who's going to end the season knowing that they were fastest by the end of it? Out of the final corner comes Jamal Clouden. He goes fastest as O'Reilly goes even quicker. 34.4 for him. As Matthew Duffin, I think, gets a lap time on the board. He goes into third place as Diz goes quicker, and that is his session done. KLF goes to 10th ahead of Rob Smith, as the rest of the guys are going to try and get their final lap times on the board. The 5.9, that looks like Stephen Millington. He goes into 5th. McGowan goes into 2nd, and John Andrews goes into 14th. Who's in the final few corners here. Nuclear Waste in the end goes 3rd. Sam goes into 7th place. Gary Leach exits the final corner, and he now goes into P3. So good lap time from him. The 4.73, that is Jamie. And Robert Ramsell has invalidated his lap time. But O'Reilly and Duffin are still on lap times here. So is O'Reilly going to finish the season on a high, fastest once again? Jamie to the line. He goes into 13th place position. We now wait to see what O'Reilly and Duffin can do. Duffin currently 6th at the moment. And now at the final few corners comes O'Reilly. And into the final hairpin he goes. Last qualifying session of the GT4 is done this season. Towards the line comes O'Reilly. Does he improve? He does a 33.9. Gets into the 33s. The only driver to get in the 33s. Duffin in the end stays 6th. And no improvement for him there. But O'Reilly on pole position once again. He's going to have a Mercedes alongside him of McGowan. And Gary Leach right behind him as well. Nuke could have wasted there as well. So a lot of changes in this one. Obviously, a lot of guys choosing not to qualify or did not get a lap time on the board. Friedman and Skunky starting from the back of the pack here. This is going to be a very interesting final race here. I am so looking forward to this one. So here we go, guys. Final race of this season for GT4s here at Donington Park. Matthew Duffin, reminder, is your GT4 champion. The top 5 in the championship are pretty much secure. No one can really gain any positions here, but it is the last time we will see these GT4s out on track. It is going to be fascinating to see how this all pans out towards the end of this race. What can Skunky and Friedman do at the back of the pack? That is the question. We'll get our third and final prediction here tonight of a race 3 winner. And it is going to be Kieran O'Reilly on the front row.
30 seconds.
Sharing it with Ian McGowan in that Mercedes-Benz, who's the Mercedes hasn't looked very good, but McGowan there in that final session finding some decent lap time there. And can he take the fight to
10 seconds.
To O'Reilly? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So I end that one a minute. Butterfingers. It's been a long season. My voice is drained from commentating on these cars. And I think Christmas will give it a well-deserved rest. So O'Reilly will set them off one final time here. The final 20-minute sprint of 2024 here at Simplay Motorsport for the Ginetta GT4s. Reminder as well, guys, if you do want to be a part of the action next season, February 4th, 5th and 6th, get those dates in your calendar. McGowan did not make the grid. He's ended up in pit lane. Get those dates on the board. So Gary Leach now will end up behind O'Reilly. Let's see what Gary can do from there. But yeah, get yourself signed up, get through the hot stints, and get yourself ready to go for next season. Reminder: 4th, 5th, and 6th of February 2025 will be returning back for our usual long season. But also a reminder as well, fun events will be upcoming as well. So make sure you're in the Discord so you can be a part of them. We've got our first multi-class event around the Nürburgring with all the extra classes: Porsche Super Cup, BMW M2s, Super Trofeo, and also the Ferrari Challenge, all sharing the circuit. 32 cars on track at once. There's possibly 2 other events on as well that we're going to be looking into, possibly maybe an Xbox versus PlayStation event. We did have obviously ourselves versus FBR. Not sure what's happening with that this season. Don't think it's going to happen this season. But we are looking at possibly PlayStation versus Xbox. That would be an interesting one to see who comes out on top of that one. But we're possibly going to be looking into celebrating Audi 25th anniversary since its first win at Le Mans. All Audi cars, GT2s, GT3s, GT4s around Paul Ricard. What do we like the sound of that, guys? That could be an interesting one to keep an eye on. if we're going to run it. Obviously, it's down to the admin team. We will get things up to date. And like I said, if you do want to be a part of these events, you've got to be in the Discord. The Discord link are in the description as we now enter the final corner. Kieran O'Reilly on pole position. Was going to be McGowan with him, but he is all on his own. Final race of the GT4 season, and we are
Green light, green light.
green and go as Skunky gets a drive-through for being out of position. And that's going to be a great start for him. He's going to walk through the pit lane. A lot of cars didn't make the start. Dan Taylor, Susie Green, Andy McGowan and Taylor didn't make the start as they head down the hill. And there's a lot cleaner start by the looks of things. Everyone managing to get away cleanly here as they head down the hill. As the rest of them got going, McGowan stayed in. He's got going as Taylor comes out, Susie's, Andy all come out of the pits as we head down towards McLean's for the first time, and O'Reilly has got the gap down to Gary Leach already. KLF looking like he's had a bit of a slow moment through Old Hairpin and has been mugged by Stardog and Jamie by the looks of things as Matthew Duffin is under some pressure here. He's putting Jamal Clouden under pressure. Jamal Clouden has been passed here as Nuclear Waste is just ahead of these guys as Gary Leach tries to do something with O'Reilly. But O'Reilly got comfortable lead at the minute. Diz in P3, Nuclear Waste with Duffin, Clouden and Sam right behind him. Matt Wright with Steve Millington behind them. Skunky will have to do his drive through as soon as he possibly can to stay in this one. But Skunky Snyder has gone from bad to worse. John Andrews has to straight line the chicane. But they head down towards the hairpin and O'Reilly still leading the way. But Gary Leach has gone with him. Nuclear Waste has gone wide. Matthew Duffin now looking to the outside of Goddard's. Not going to get the job done there. Clouden looked like he's being attacked by Sam up the inside. Sam looks, but he can't quite get the run. And Jamal Clouden there just trying to stay ahead of the Aston Martin. But Gary Leach setting the pace at the minute. And Skunky still yet to do his drive-through. He's moved up the order quite a bit. Will Friedman's already up into 11th place. But down the hill they go. There goes the two Ginettas. Can Gary Leach get a win to his name here? He's going to give O'Reilly a good go if he possibly can. But Nuclear Waste, though, still holding off Duffin and Clouden with Sam in that as well. Matt Wright's now creeping onto the back of him as well. Then Rob Smith is then holding the train up a little bit. Oh no, he's been passed now by Skunky and Will Friedman. Who's that? That's DJ Phil. He's cleared a couple of cars as well. KLF's dropped down the order. Got a little bit of damage to the side of his car as he now tries to work his way through the order. Gary Leach, though, no answer to the Ginetta of O'Reilly at the minute. Diz is just trying to stick with him as best he can as this quartet of cars comes through with Nuclear Waste and Matthew Duffin. Duffin's looking to try and make a move on Melbourne. But Nuclear Waste defends the inside as Clouden looks to the inside himself. I don't think there was really an attacking opportunity. I think he was just trying to get the front end to make the corner. And Matt Wright's just sneaking onto the back of him. Jamie now under pressure from Will Friedman. And Skunky, oh, it looks like he's going to go a little bit deep there. Is Skunky going to come in and serve his drive-through? Yes, he is. Such a shame for him there. But Skunky now just pulling away from Gary Leach. And then everyone else comes thundering through. KLF's made a couple of places there. Who's dropped bad? That's Old Sim Racer and Tipping. They've dropped further back. KLF now trying to hunt down Stephen Millington. Jamie has been passed by Will Friedman as Skunky has now cleared his drive-through. Where did that bring him in the end? There he is, and there is Ian McGowan. So he's not a million miles away, but he's got a lot of work to do nonetheless. O'Reilly, though, is second ahead of Gary, 1.8 ahead of Diz. Nuclear Waste is facing the wrong way. What has happened there as Duffin looks like he's got no damage to his car, as Clouden got damage to his car? I think he possibly has. Yes, he has. He's got front end damage, so possibly someone involving them. But Matthew Duffin gains a position, and Nuclear Waste returns back to the pits. To go through the chicane, Robert Ramsell now trying to catch Jamal Clouden. Will Friedman has caught these three This is Matthew Duffin, Matt Wright, Sam, all going for positions here, and Matt just struggling. I think he's had a moment possibly through the chicane because he had a big gap on these lot, and Sam is looking up the inside. Matt's opened the door wide open for any of them to come up the inside, and Sam's going to give it a good go, but a poor exit, and Sam does get the job done. Matthew Duffin though flashing the lights at him, not sure why. Too busy flashing and not watching behind him, because here comes here comes Matt Wright and Friedman. Jamie's in the middle of us as well. Will Friedman's gone wide, but he'll still hold on to that position against Matt Wright. Brave going around the outside of the crane of curves. Through the old hairpin, there you go. Sam, meanwhile, got some pressure from Matthew Duffin. Duffin right under the rear wing of him once again. They're not really going to trouble the top three at this stage. KLF is onto the back of Stephen Millington, pretty much pushing him up the hill by the looks of things. But Sam's still trying to defend from Duffin, and Sam's gone wide. And Duffin up the inside he goes. And here comes Will Friedman as well. He's going to get in the slipstream of Matthew Duffin. Is Sam brave enough to outbrake the Porsche? Yes, he is. Through the S's they go, and Sam holds on to that position. Friedman now under pressure from Matt Wright. Wright looking up the inside of Melbourne hairpin. Oh, a little nudge there, and Friedman just starting a little bit bullied here as Clouden has joined back onto this group of cars. Once again, Duffin goes a little bit wide in the hairpin. Seems to be his line there as Clouden gets really close to the back of Jamie. Did KLF get past Millington? No, he did not. Andy, Rob, and Dan Taylor, Susie, and McGowan have now caught them. Skunky's just behind them as well. But O'Reilly, though, comfortably out in front, 2.2 ahead of Gary Leach, who's trying everything he can to hunt him down. Diz in third. And Matthew Duffin got this whole train of cars ahead of Sam, Friedman, Wright, and Jamie, and Clouden, and Robert Ramsell just onto the back of this group of cars as well. Sam, though, looking pretty quick at them, and a little bit of damage to the front end of his Aston. We're trying to take the fight to the newly crowned champ. Will Friedman's just there as well. Clouden looked like he had a great run through the top of Coppice there. Steve Millington still defending a hell of a lot from KLF, and actually KLF's lost time here to Steve Millington. He's pulled away, but your top three are pretty much secure at this moment, as Sam looks like he was either attacking or defending. I think he was defending from Friedman. Duffin goes deep into Melbourne hairpin. Sam gets close once again. I'm not sure why, but Duffin possibly struggling here. He's going to leave the door wide open once again. He tries to get the cut back, and Sam looking up the inside. He can't get the job done there. And Will Friedman looking left, looking right to try and find a move on Sam. He's going to look, and Sam's too busy trying to attack Duffin himself. Meanwhile, Millington is starting to become a little bit more pressure from KLF. And as they head down the crane of curves. Again, Clouden's just dropped off this group. Seems to catch them and then drops off of them. Possibly the classic Chevy Camaro understeering. And Friedman's going around the outside of Sam. And Sam blocks it off, and Sam hits Duffin. And that allows Friedman through, right through. Clouden's been caught up in all of that as well. Has Duffin managed to get going? Yes, he has. Sam is waiting for him. Oh, they go through. Clouden drops behind them. And Matthew Duffin goes back ahead of Sam, but he's got a bit of damage to the front end of his car, possibly being collected of other cars. And Millington now attacking Sam up the inside, gets the job done. And KLF now just onto the back of this group of cars as well. Matt Wright still, though, giving Will Friedman a hard time here. But again, O'Reilly comfortably out in front, 2.2 ahead of Gary Leach. Diz just dropped off the back of these two now, 4.4. He's got no answer to the leaders, but a good all night though for Diz. He's been solid in that BMW. Friedman now in P4. He's got Matt Wright still breathing down his neck, P5 for him. P6 is Robert Ramsell staying out of trouble, Jamie P7, and Stephen Millington now under pressure from Matthew Duffin. Stephen Millington's going to defend the inside. Duffin's going to try and go around the outside. Sam's in there as well with KLF, all looking to try and make some moves and opportunities. Duffin now up the inside. And Millington stays in front of Duffin. Sam's with him as well. Sam's looking to try and get back past Duffin. Meanwhile, the two Ginettas of Andy and KLF just sitting behind, waiting for something. Andy's looking to make a move on KLF. Matthew Duffin hits the curb. More cones go flying. And again, Matt Wright still sticking to Friedman here, so a good race between those guys. But look at these group of cars. And Stephen Millington is the lead car of this group. '69, that is Andy. He's got himself a drive-through. And KLF looking to attack Sam. Can't get the job done. Matthew Duffin's gone wide. And that's going to give Sam that position, I think. Or is he? Yes, he is. And Duffin now having to defend from KLF. He's got heavy damage to the front end of his Mercedes. Sam's gone deep. They've come together again. And Andy goes in for his drive-through. Sam's all over the shot, and more damage and contact has been made. Out of all this, Skunky has caught this group. After doing a drive-through right at the beginning, he's caught to the back end of this group of cars. And Sam with major damage to the front end of his car. Meanwhile, O'Reilly and Gary Leach were within 1.9 of each other. Gary's made a mistake, and now Diz is on the back of him. Friedman now has dropped Matt Wright. Robert Ramsell in a solid 6th place. Jamie in 7th, ahead of Matthew. Jamie was ahead of Stephen Millington. He's got through. Jamie's now defending from him, and KLF looking to make a move. Jamie's gone off. Jamie's gone round. This GT4 race has turned into an absolute disaster now. Cars going off left, right and centre. And it's all just becoming a little bit messy now. Skunky is now onto the back of KLF. And Diz now still looking to try and make a move on Gary Leach. And you see the straight line advantage from that BMW. It's not a long enough straight here, but the BMW is very good in a straight line. And Friedman's got no answer to the cars in front at the moment. Meanwhile, KLF has done Matthew Duffin, and up the outside goes Skunky. He's going to give it a go as well. And Matthew Duffin now. McGowan's also worked his way up to 13, also starting from the pit lane. Cloudon's coming into the pits. And Skunky now on the rear wing of Matthew Duffin. As down the Craner curves they go. KLF trying to pull away. But Duffin suffering with damage. Looks like a car had been off previously. I think it was possibly Stephen Millington kicking up the dirt. As Skunky's just trying to patiently wait for the right opportunity to get past Duffin. Look up the inside of McLean's. And Duffin's gone wide. Job done. Skunky gets it done as Dan Taylor now looks up the inside of Duffin. He'll get the job done. So Duffin getting mugged left, right and centre here. Your champion struggling with damage. Meanwhile, McGowan's got up the inside of Jamie. But Jamie's going to try and out-drag him here, come back at him. But he can't do so. And McGowan holds on to that position. Duffin trying to come back at Taylor there, but couldn't do so. Skunky's already caught KLF once again. So KLF now trying to defend as much as he can from Skunky. Meanwhile, Diz and Gary Leach still a tenth between them. Friedman's trying to catch him as best he can. Sam's been in the pits repairing his damage. I believe Clouden was in the pits as well. He's repaired his damage and he's returned back on track. Gary Leach under pressure from Diz here. And KLF still trying to defend from Skunky. And Duffin again has lost another place. He's lost a position to McGowan. Duffin's just dropping down the order. He's now got Jamie hunting him down with damage to his own car as well. Meanwhile, Diz was on the back of Gary, and Gary's now pulled away. Can Will Friedman catch Diz towards the very end of this race? There's KLF, he's got Skunky right behind him. Gonna look at Coppice, but he can't do so there. Try and get a good exit and try and get a good run through here. And here comes Skunky towards the S's. Not far enough alongside this time round. Dan Taylor's now joined the party. And Skunky now looking to attack at Melbourne Hairpin. Duffin, KLF defends the inside. And Skunky going to try and undercut him here. And he's not able to get the run that he wanted. And once again, Skunky having to go around the outside of KLF. KLF giving the racing room to Skunky. Skunky's up the inside. McGowan, meanwhile, has been pushing hard through there. And KLF tries to defend the inside turn number one. And once again, Duffin is just getting mugged. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's weaving now. I know he picked up on me and Overtaker weaving once, so I'm going to pick him up for weaving now. Diz has brought the gap ever so slightly down to Gary Leach once again, but Will Friedman's just in the background. Is he going to catch him just at the very end? That is the question. Matt Wright's got no answer. Robert Ramsell and his good mate Stephen Millington, the two cam drivers, on their own with no one around them, and KLF still defending heavily from Skunky. Skunky trying to fight for every point he can. Dan Taylor has been passed by McGowan, and McGowan's now trying to hunt these two down. KLF going to look to try and defend the chicane. Skunky thinks of it, but he can't do it there, as McGowan's got more pace at this stage between these guys. And there we go, KLF drive-through penalty for track limits, as does Jamal Clouden. And Skunky is going to look to try and make a move, but he can't do so. But will KLF just stay out for as long as he can? Will he enjoy the fight between himself and Skunky, or just serve his drive-through? He's going to serve his drive-through. KLF comes into the pit, and another drive-through for him. Diz, meanwhile, is back on to Gary Leach. A shame there for KLF, as Matthew Duffin's still under pressure from many cars. He's got Jamie, Stardog and Susie right behind him, as KLF does clear his drive-through. But Diz now trying to catch Gary Leach. Meanwhile, in the background, 1.7 is the gap. Will Freeman is catching him, 1.3 now. So he's going to be right on them as Gary goes deep through the chicane. He's going to be compromised to Diz and then of Will Friedman. Will Friedman's absolutely flying. Diz is going to send it in Melbourne Hairpin, but he's not quite far enough alongside. And Diz has to wait a little bit longer. We go back to this fight. Leader is on the final lap. Kieran O'Reilly's got this race in the bag, as long as he doesn't drop it. Commentator's curse there. And Matthew Duffin here just struggling in a straight line. You can see the damage to the front end of his car not helping him. But we go back to your second, third and fourth now, as Friedman's within 7 tenths. He's been pushing hard as Friedman, and he's on to the back of these two. But who's it going to be to complete the final podium positions here for the final time this season? What else is going on here as Matthew Duffin has got past Rob Smith? And there's all sorts of carnage going on through this section here of drivers. But Gary Leach still ahead of Diz. Diz now coming under pressure from Friedman. Through the right-hander, there you go. Kieran O'Reilly, meanwhile, going through the chicane. It has been pitch perfect from him. Gary Leach, though, in second, and looks like he's going to secure that second place. And Diz into the chicane. Gary through the chicane, so does Will Friedman. Skunky and McGowan have caught one another, so they're going to have a fight to the end. Diz flashing the lights at Gary. Gary goes possibly a little bit deep. Diz tries to get the cut underneath. He's not going to do so, but O'Reilly exits the final corner and wins the final race here and the final race of the season. It goes Ginetta, it goes to O'Reilly. Gary Leach is going to hang in there for a strong podium position. He's going to finish second place in this. Diz will finish in third. Will Friedman finishes in fourth. Great racing from those guys. Matt Wright is going to come home for fifth place position. Robert Ramsell is going to finish in sixth. Stephen Millington is going to cross the line in that seventh place position ahead of Skunky. He's got McGowan behind him. McGowan's going to attack him. Skunky defends him as Millington comes to the line, as they're all doing donuts down the end, which is lovely to see. Skunky and Millington clouded. McGowan and Skunky come together. Taylor comes home for ninth. Duffin in the end, your champion is going to win the GT4 champion here tonight. He comes home in 10th, Stardog 12th was Jamie. Rob Smith in 13th, Susie in 14th, KLF 15th, Andy's going to finish in 16th, Tiffin 17th, DJ Phil in 18th, John Andrews in 19th. Old Sim Racer is trying to catch John Andrews right at the very end there. Old Sim Racer in 20th, Sam and Jamal Cloudin in the back of the pack there. John Andrews go deep. Old Sim Racer gets him as everyone else is done celebrating and doing their donuts. As Skunky's doing donuts, which you've got to have some donuts towards the end of the season. Gary Clark won the chat. Well done all. Good racing to see this year. Maybe not to a drive in Lowes. But let's see the donuts here. It's brilliant to see all these fabulous donuts here. I know others think it's daft that they do donuts and whatever, but it's great to see. It's great celebration. It's the end of a season, and that is that. But Matthew Duffin is champion, but it's Kieran O'Reilly who finished the season as your winner of this final race. I'm going to attempt to try and do the comms box. I'll be with you in a few moments' time.
Green light, go, go, go.
So that should be working out. Am I coming through now? Someone tell me something, please, because this is ridiculous. Yeah, but on the stream. Can anyone hear me on the stream? Can anybody hear me? I just want some. Right, finally, thank you. Audio Sport, KLF, finally. Thanks. Right, anyway. If any of the guys who have been on the podium this evening want to join in the Discord chat and come into the comments box, that would be fabulous. Right, Matthew. Donington Park. Your home circuit, your home race, and you are champion. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Dan. It's been a hard night.
It's looked like a hard night. It's I don't know if that Mercedes-Benz was giving you a hard time tonight, but it did look like a struggle this evening.
Yeah, Mercedes was bad. I was worse. I've got a twin for my back in race 2. So I struggled a bit in race 2, and that's why Darren got past. But in race 3, my leg just went numb. And that's, I think Sam or Luke Waste, I can't remember which one it was. So I apologise in Discord again. I'm trying to say I'm so sorry. So really sorry. I just got a great foot. And I got the damage, but the car wasn't too bad. I just couldn't stop the corners, wasn't stopping. I actually missed the end of the press out, so everybody there.
But obviously tonight, O'Reilly and Friedman look immensely quick tonight. Obviously, what I want to quickly bring on to is obviously this season has worked obviously very well in your favour. Not a lot of drivers have been able to complete the season, or they've had bad luck. But just tell me how much of a difference this season would have been if Friedman didn't have the bad luck, O'Reilly would have been here all season, and Skunky didn't have the bad luck and also been here all season. Because let's be honest, those guys looked phenomenal towards the end, but in the end, you ended up being the champion.
I don't think I'd won it, I'm going to be honest with you. Friedman's been knackered all season. That's not just Skunky and O'Reilly. And Gary, Gary McGowan did when he's been here. There's been a lot of drivers this season who've been really quick, but I think Friedman, you've got to take the luck in racing at times. You've got to take the luck to go your way. And I said last week, I look at his honours, Friedman got away with a lot compared to other drivers who've been just on a reverse grid, and Friedman's had unlucky races elsewhere. And the fact is, when it was all a level playing field of your pace, no weight, no ballast, no nothing, I took 2 wins out of the 3 and got a second in the other one. So the season was set up well by me. All the drivers have got unlucky, but I've still got to do the job, because I could have just had an unlucky race like them. And thankfully, I've only really had to coach it, which was a bit of a shocker, but yeah, it's been a tough season, put it this way. I've had to work incredibly hard. I know I've had a huge gap on season, but just to win races, just to get podiums, just to get them results, it's been such a mega fight with these guys all season. GT4's been brilliant, the format's been great, Mercedes really bring on great all 4. But yeah, it's just been a quality season all round, and I cannot thank everybody who's taken part, everybody who's stuck around to the end. From whether you're at the bottom end of the grid to the top end of the grid, it's been a phenomenal season with everybody up and down it. And I just want to give a massive shout out to Will Friedman, because my days at times he's made me look at everything and think I've got up my game.
Yeah, definitely so. Will Friedman has been very, very good this season, and it's like I said, it's a shame he hasn't been able to have the luck on his side, because it would have been a great fight towards the very end. Obviously, it's down to the drivers to vote on who they want to see back for the side series. GT4 looks like it's making its way back. Will you be returning in the GT4s, and will you be returning in the Mercedes-Benz to defend the title? Sky wasn't here to defend it. He did a couple rounds and then disappeared. But you're now the reigning champ. Are you going to return in a Mercedes-Benz to defend it?
100%. Whether I'm in the Mercedes, we might look at something else, we don't know. We're going to work over January and find out. I've got to get myself. First of all, I need to have a good break and see what's happening with this, because I don't want twinges to be ruining things again. But yeah, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at the cars that's on offer. I'm going to look at every situation that we've got and go for there. I think the Mercedes is still the favourite. Obviously, it's going to depend on the format and things as well. Rumours of longer races and things might a longer run. So we'll see. But if all being well, commentator-wise, I'm hopefully going to be back to defend my title. I don't want to let it go without a fight, and I'll be looking to come back and give it a fight. Obviously, discussions will happen maybe on the way by the time the next season starts as well. So, a lot of time to see what can happen. But yeah, I'll hopefully under plenty of it.
Well, nonetheless, mate, congratulations on a phenomenal season, and again, congratulations on being the champion.
Thank you all. Can I just point out to the chat, you're still there. Give this man props because he's done this on his own all season. He's been frantic, fantastic races, and every time I watch the screenshot, I'll edit in the tables for Pro Am and Pro. This guy has put on such a good job all season, and I cannot tip my hat to this guy enough for doing it on his own. So a big round of applause. Thanks. Fantastic. Well done.
Thank you very much, mate. But that is it for the GT4s. We haven't got any other drivers coming to join us in the Discord chat as I finally figure it out for the first time. And yeah, no one wants to come and chat, so that's brilliant. But nonetheless, it's been a fabulous season in the GT4s. Obviously, driver of the day for me is going to have to go the way of Kieran O'Reilly. He's been absolutely phenomenal tonight. Brilliant to watch all of tonight. But obviously, driver of the season has to go with Matthew Duffin. He has been phenomenal from start to end. No one's been really able to just take him off the top step. Will Freeman, an honourable mention, as a Skunky, and a few others as well. But nonetheless, Matthew is your Simplay Motorsport GT4 champion Season 2. Will he be able to come back and defend that title? Who knows? We'll have to wait until February, possibly on the 4th, 5th and 6th of February when the GT4s may return. It is still up to decision, but it's looking like they will return. But nonetheless, we've got 2 more events still to come this week. Tomorrow night is the Pro-Ams. And again, championship is pretty much done, but there are still places to be gained and places to be lost. So that's still happening. Richie Michelle, can he finish the season on a high? Is he going to outscore myself on points? As I believe that's what he's aiming to try and do now. But obviously, the pros, on Thursday night, will be your final race of the season. And again, championship done. Myself and Mike Matthews, champion in constructors, and myself as champion in the drivers. But from myself and the GT4s, good night, and we'll see you very soon as the GT4s will possibly make a return. But from us here, all at Simplay Motorsport, good night. And we should be clear.
So my stream, we've added that championship to our